lean on us.
We are here for you.
You matter.
You are not alone.
Are you feeling overwhelmed? Not sure where to turn? The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there for you 24/7. Call or text 988 or chat at 988sc.org. Whether you're having an emergency or you know someone who needs support now, they can help you take the next step towards finding hope and healing.
There is hope. 988sc.org.
If you're a last-minute gift shopper, then Instacart is your holiday rescue app this season. No more tracking packages, no more trips to the post office, and no more Christmas gifts arriving in February. Instead, you can just download Instacart to order gifts like beauty, tech, and gourmet goods from local stores and get them delivered in as fast as 1 hour. Plus, right now, you'll get free delivery on your first 3 orders. This offer is valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply. Must be 21 plus to purchase alcohol where available.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and gender nonconforming individuals to another episode of The Benjamin Dixon Show. Today is Friday, December 8th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me. I begin with a clip from none other than far right-wing extremist and ethno-nationalist strongman Benjamin Netanyahu, who has taken the state of Israel and the Jewish people down a very dark and insidious path that is eerily reminiscent of the way the Jewish people were treated during the Holocaust, as more images and video come out of the barbarity that is being leveled against the children of Gaza. I want you to listen to the absolute unmitigated gall of this individual as he calls the alleged war crimes against him fake news.
When the ICC investigates Israel for fake war crimes, this is pure anti-Semitism. The court established to prevent atrocities like the Nazi Holocaust against the Jewish people is now targeting the one state of the Jewish people. First, it outrageously claims that when Jews live in our homeland, this is a war crime. Second, it claims that when democratic Israel defends itself against terrorists who murder our children, rocket our cities, we're committing another war crime. Yet the ICC refuses to investigate brutal dictatorships like Iran and Syria, who commit horrific atrocities almost daily. As Prime Minister of Israel, I assure you, we will fight this perversion of justice with all our might.
The ICC is the International Criminal Court, and as Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu is personally liable for the war crimes that are being committed under his watch. Now, last episode that I shared with you on Monday went into great detail as to how Google's AI system, Bard, has suppressed any questions, at least on my end, right? I have not tried to say that this is universal, but as I investigated Israel's war crimes using artificial intelligence, Google Bard refused to share any information about it while it was eager to share information about the war crimes, the very real war crimes of Vladimir Putin. That said, I want you to listen to the fatuous nature of his arguments against the investigation by the International Criminal Court, which, by the way, I do want to commend them. The world is watching, and the world should watch without any regard to who is guilty of war crimes. There can't be favorites on the international stage where we allow them to get away with certain levels of barbarity. This is true for the United States as well, but the United States has not come to that conclusion. We hope that they will eventually come to the conclusion that there is no strategic or moral reason to stand behind the pure barbarity of Benjamin Netanyahu and his far right-wing government, who do not represent all of the Jewish people. In fact, they don't even represent all of the Israeli people, as many Israelis have called for the resignation of Benjamin Netanyahu. Nevertheless, let's listen one more time to how he is trying to posture himself in defense against claims of war crimes.
When the ICC investigates Israel for fake war crimes, this is pure anti-Semitism. The court established to prevent atrocities like the Nazi Holocaust against the Jewish people is now targeting the one state of the Jewish people.
Now, you have to forgive the many lenses through which I examine any issue. This is repulsive, most certainly, but I'm actually impressed by how many different fallacies he could squeeze into one brief sentence. He simultaneously attacked the source, trying to invalidate the legitimacy of the International Criminal Court by calling them anti-Semitic, which also doubles as an ad hominem attack. He also engages in a red herring to try to distract away from the matter at hand by bringing into the conversation Nazi Germany and bringing into the conversation the suffering of the Israeli, or rather the Jewish people, right? And then he also is using the whataboutisms. I mean, this is like a 4-for-1 piece of propaganda. I'm impressed with the propaganda level, but disgusted by the immorality. Let's listen to more.
First, it outrageously claims that when Jews live in our homeland, this is a war crime.
You have declared and labeled this as a war. This is also speaking to the very barbaric nature of the occupation, to suggest that the Palestinian people, the people of Gaza, have no right to the claims for the land and the territory for which Benjamin Netanyahu is occupying, right? So it's, again, a 2-for-1 to undermine the Palestinian people's right to exist on that land, as well as to say that there should be no possibility of a war crime if they're committing these acts on that land and that they are claiming. Continuing on.
Second, it claims that when democratic Israel defends itself against terrorists who murder our children, rocket our cities, we're committing another war crime.
This is an appeal to the masses and is also dehumanizing, right? He's appealing to the masses that support liberal democracy globally to try to otherify all of the Palestinian people by labeling them all as terrorists. So this is, again, the layered propaganda that he has to go through to try to deflect from the fact that they are committing war crimes and the ICC is officially investigating them.
Yet the ICC refuses to investigate brutal dictatorships like Iran and Syria, who commit horrific atrocities almost daily.
Yet another whataboutism. What about all the other war crimes? You should pay attention to those war crimes and not ours, says Benjamin Netanyahu.
As Prime Minister of Israel, I assure you, we will fight this perversion of justice with all our might.
What is a perversion of justice when your interpretation of justice itself is the perversion? We can answer that riddle a little bit later. The point is this: Benjamin Netanyahu, as prime minister, is personally responsible in this International Criminal Court proceeding, which adds to the many different legal woes that he is facing. In this way, he's a lot like Donald Trump. Benjamin Netanyahu is a lot like Donald Trump. Earlier this week, his fraud trial that has been going on for 3 years recommenced. They took a 2-month pause while he waged his war on Gaza. And now that trial has started back. Well, now he also has to worry about the International Criminal Court. He's a lot like Donald Trump in that way. In a way, he's a lot like Vladimir Putin in the sense that he is actively committing war crimes and expects to be able to get away with it on the world stage. And let us not forget the many different areas that the agenda of the far right movement in Israel has in direct conflict with the interest of the United States of America. There are portions of Benjamin Netanyahu's agenda that directly conflict with the strategic best interest of the United States. The strategic interests of Israel under Netanyahu have conflicted with those of the United States, particularly in areas of military strategy in the region, destabilizing the region when the United States wants stability, the diplomatic relationships, the problems with the Iranian nuclear deal. The United States wanted it. Israel did not. I mean, we can go on and on. There are too many conflicting interests for the United States to continue to blindly give support to this barbaric right-wing regime of an ethno-nationalist strongman by the name of Benjamin Netanyahu, and it's time to bring it to an end. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Show after this.
I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad. Let her tie
lean on us.
We are here for you.
You matter.
You are not alone.
Are you feeling overwhelmed? Not sure where to turn? The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there for you 24/7. Call or text 988 or chat at 988sc.org. Whether you're having an emergency or you know someone who needs support now, they can help you take the next step towards finding hope and healing.
There is hope. 988sc.org.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show. Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
We know that it's very bleak, it's very dark. There's no way out. If there's no water, there is no way out of Gaza. What should we do? Like drown? Like commit mass suicide? Is this what Israel wants? And we're not going to do that. And I was telling some friend the other day that I'm an academic. Probably the toughest thing I have at home is an expo marker. But if the Israelis invade, if they charge at us, open door to door to massacre us, I'm going to use that marker, throw it at the Israeli soldiers, even if that is the last thing that I would be able to do. And this is the feeling of everybody. We are helpless. We have nothing to lose.
We are helpless and we have nothing to lose. That was the voice of Palestinian intellectual, scholar, and poet Rifat Al-Arir, who was killed last night after giving those words a few weeks ago on the Electronic Intifada podcast. Those words are haunting when you consider the fact that he was possibly targeted very directly. And we're still waiting on more information as to the means and the methods of how he was targeted, informed, and ultimately assassinated. And that, too, will perhaps fall into the category of a war crime, as we see the amount of scholars and professors, as well as journalists who have been targeted in this brutal campaign being waged against the Palestinian people by Benjamin Netanyahu. To hear this man's voice as he describes the severity of the situation, and then to find out that he was killed. This is what I mean when I say it is not only inappropriate, but highly offensive for anyone to prioritize the upcoming American election above what's happening today. We have over a year, just under a year, fine. It's just under a year now before the election. If Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu continue on this path unabated, just think about how many Palestinian children and women would be killed by the next election, while people are telling us that we need to focus on the next election. Now, again, in a few moments, when we come back from this next break, I've got some things that you need to consider about the upcoming American election, because I am keenly in tune with the threat that Christian nationalism poses not only to this country, but to this world. I don't want anyone to mix my words up or take me out of context. 2024 is a make or break moment for humanity. But you can't expect anyone to care about that when you are showing a lack of humanity every day as we watch children get killed, women get killed, civilians get killed, journalists get killed, professors get killed. It is a free-for-all, and Benjamin Netanyahu gets to sit back without any critical analysis of what he is doing from the very people who are funding and supplying the weapons for it. This is why George Washington said, and you're rarely going to catch me quoting that man or any founding father for that matter. They got a couple of good lines here and there. Here's one from George Washington in his last speech as he left office. He stated very clearly that the United States should have no standing allies, no permanent alliances that cannot be questioned, that cannot be taken back, that cannot be adjusted for, especially in context of new information. Now, I'm giving all of those details, right? He simply said no standing alliances. But when you consider just how much Israel underneath Benjamin Netanyahu is bringing down the United States, don't get me wrong, it's with the help and the assistance and the full support of the standing regime here in the United States, which means that we have a regime in power that completely does not care about the best interest of the United States, because they continue to engage in policies like supporting Israel's barbarity against Gaza. Why? What strategic purpose does it serve for the United States of America? They're the biggest democracy in the Middle East. That's provided for by the United States of America. Why should the United States continue to stand by something that is not only immoral, but it is a strategic liability? And so to that end, if there's anything that the United States needs to listen and hearken back to their founding fathers over, despite their hypocrisy in so many different areas, but if there's one thing they need to listen to George Washington on, was the fact that we should have no permanent alliances, and every single alliance should be reevaluated based on what's happening now, number one. And number two, the other hypocrite that was actually kind of brilliant with his hypocrisy, Thomas Jefferson, who said that he fears for his country when he considers that God is just and his justice won't sleep forever. The United States of America needs to take in consideration that they are on the wrong side of the moral arc of the universe yet again. And in this case, it is the highest level of barbarity that we have seen in our lifetimes. Of all of the war crimes that have been committed, of all of the atrocities that have been committed in our lifetimes, depending on how old you are, have we ever seen this many children killed in such a short period of time? No, we have not. And so to that end, I think the United States of America should actually listen to their founding fathers for once and separate themselves from this moment of complete and total barbarity that is being marked on the record of the universe. We will never forget what is happening right now. And if your number one concern is the election of 2024, you should realize that what's happening right now will be as fresh in our hearts in November of 2024 as it is right now. And so it is not only in the strategic best interest internationally, it is not only in the moral best interest universally, it is also in the immediate best interest for the United States to pull away from the absolute barbarity that Benjamin Netanyahu is raining down on the people of Gaza. We'll be back right after this.
Saudis was wanting my presence. The world going through it outside, they unruly, but I keep it cool, they can't press me. I keep it pure with intention. They see what I'm on, ain't no vixen. I might slide through with that top down. I keep it tuned with a high power. Put it on me, I'm blessed. Blessed. Big bag, manifest the sky, no stress. Keep no evil around me, can't ground me. I built it since when I had less. No hex on, God can't pause. Look at how far we progress.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show. Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
That is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, as he compares himself to Moses as he has now ascended to the throne. You know, it's funny, before I go any further, I think it's really funny that he heard God tell him to prepare for a Red Sea moment and assumed that he was on the right side of this, that he was going to be on the side of Moses and Aaron versus on the side of Pharaoh in the Egyptian story, right? In the Exodus story. It's just, it always blows me away that people, when they claim to hear from God, they automatically assume that it's because they're doing the right thing. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's just me who slows down enough to consider maybe I'm on the wrong side of a matter. I do want to dig in here a little bit, folks, because, yeah, we're dealing with some really dangerous people at a really dangerous time. People who feel that they are ordained by God to carry out their draconian desires. Now, whether or not you feel like you're called by God to do something good and decent for humanity, that's one thing. But when you align the agenda of this far-right Christian nationalist, by the way, pause and note that in every nation on the face of this planet, we have a movement of far right-wing ethno-nationalists who are either in power, ascending to power, or aspiring for power. Mike Johnson is representative of the highest levels of power that Christian nationalism has attained here in the United States. And it's not always just Christian nationalism. You have Hindu nationalism in India underneath the leadership of Modi, right? You have Islamic nationalism in any number of right-wing ethno-nationalist states. And so we need to consider that global implication, the fact that there is an alliance, a League of Nations of sorts, where ethno-nationalist states who want the right to treat their minority populations however they want to treat them without any commentary or intervention from the international community. That is the primary goal. And they have factions in every country, and Mike Johnson represents that faction here in the United States. I offer to you that, yes, 2024 is extremely important. I just don't prioritize it over what's happening in Gaza right now. I don't. It will always fall to a distant second. Number one, because of temporal order. We've got a year. That means we either have a year to stop what's happening in Gaza and get ourselves together for 2024, or we have a year to allow this to continue going to the point of absolute no return. And I'm telling you, we're probably already there, right? When we talk about 10,000 children, see, I can't even talk about American politics without reminding myself and reminding everyone else of the bigger, broader things that are happening on the global stage. When we're talking about 10,000 children, I feel dirty just talking about American politics. But if I didn't know better, And if I didn't know the exact threat that we are facing from these right-wing Christian nationalists and the fact that they will happily suspend with democracy, they will do away with American democracy in order to have full control so that they can execute an agenda that will punish you with the force of law for whatever part of your life they don't agree with. Doesn't care. It doesn't matter if you have to have an abortion because of complications. They want to punish you with the letter of the law. Doesn't matter if you want to engage in a same-sex marriage. They want to punish you with the force of law. Matter of fact, they're not just going after same-sex marriage. You have some who are looking to reinstate sodomy laws, making same-sex attraction illegal in the first place, right? We're talking about people who will stop at nothing to control this entire planet for their very specific interpretation of Christianity, which, by the way, is riddled with nothing but patriarchy and white supremacy, greed, right? Every bit of their interpretation of their faith is antithetical to their own faith, but that's a whole different question for a whole different day. The point is that these people really believe that they are called by God to execute the most barbaric agenda on our lives. And perhaps the way I should talk about this is comprehensively as a matter of faith, in terms of the Jewish faith as well as the Christian faith. Anyone who finds themselves on the side of Christian nationalism, anyone who finds themselves on the side of this barbarity that's happening to the Palestinian people, I think that you should really evaluate whether or not God is on your side. No, now, to my audience who's full of agnostics and atheists and adherents of other faith and non-believers, please forgive me, but the best way for me to do a 2-for-1 special and to be able to talk about what's happening in Gaza as well as what's happening in the United States of America is that we have religious zealots who are willing to execute a barbaric agenda in the name of their own interpretation of their God. Because I want to make sure you understand there's plenty of Christians who oppose Christian nationalism. There are plenty of Orthodox Jews and Jewish people, generally speaking, who oppose Zionism and oppose Benjamin Netanyahu very directly. And so when I talk about this from a religious perspective, don't see it as a monolithic statement. It is to say that there are factions in every religion on the face of this planet who want to use the force of law to punish people with whom they disagree. And those are the people that we must collectively oppose. I say that boldly and proudly as a statement of my faith. As a Christian who honestly reads the Bible, who honestly prays and meditates, I can tell you that anyone running around in the name of Christianity doing the things that Christian nationalists are doing and desire to do more of, not only do they not represent my faith, but they represent the exact people that my faith tells me I should oppose. As a matter of human decency, as a matter of morality, as a matter of holiness and living and doing like Christ taught me to do, opposing Christian nationalists who want to harm the least of these, opposing Zionism and this barbaric movement by Benjamin Netanyahu to completely obliterate Gaza, genocide, and just what I have to oppose it as a matter of my faith. And so there must emerge from this moment globally a coalition of people of good faith. It doesn't matter what you believe or what you don't believe. What we have in common is that we are facing a resurgence, and a very strong resurgence, right? It's like a renaissance of ethno-nationalism and religious nationalism. And they all oppose collectively those of us who want progress, those of us who want coexistence, those of us who want freedom of religion as well as freedom from religion, those of us who have any type of belief that's outside of what they approve of. We have a common cause, and we have to start uniting and fighting together because they are uniting to fight against us.
Change I wanna see.
That's about it for today's episode. A couple of things that are coming up that I am excited about. We are relaunching the patron parties coming up soon. So make sure that you're a patron of the Benjamin Dixon Show, patreon.com/the BPD Show, or like it or not, patreon.com/like it or not. You can get access to the party either way it goes. We're excited to bring it back. It's been a while, but we needed some time to revamp. Secondly, I want to, again, thank you, all the listeners and the patrons, for your patience over the last month where I have been gone in a significant fashion. I just want to thank you again, because as I'm wrapping up, like I've done today's podcast after I stopped and I took a break from my research. I said, I got to get a podcast out. So I'm still neck deep in it, and I'm at the stage where I'm sorting and I am getting ready for publication. I am going to share some of the results with scientific community for peer review. Thanks to my patron for pointing me towards that community so that I can share there for scientific peer review. Then I'm also going to be sharing more videos and audio of all of our encounters with AI. The encounters really do land on the intersection of everything that matters. I hope it matters to us, but it certainly matters to me. And the struggle that we are potentially facing in the future when AI is able to operate the way that it does and be under the control of the most powerful people on the face of the planet, and to have access to and control over the knowledge that can be acquired. As evidence, folks, by the amount of things, just the sheer volume of knowledge that I was able to tap into with some of these advanced research methods that I will definitely be sharing with those of you who are interested after I get a chance to have them peer reviewed. The methods that I was able to come up with really just put me in a honeypot of knowledge. And I couldn't have done that without the time that you all gave me. So I want to thank you for that and hint towards all of the good things that are getting ready to come out of it. Now, some of it is not good. Some of the things I have to report are really bad about AI, the way it behaves currently and the way it capitulates to power. You saw in the last episode how it capitulates to the power of the Israeli lobby by blocking, at least on my end, and you should be able to check it out on your side. Go to Bard from Google and see if you can ask it a question about Israel's war crimes in Gaza and see if you get the same result that I got, right? That's one of the negative attributes of it. But once you're able to get around those things and learn how to actually get around it mechanically in the system, there is a world of knowledge that is right there and accessible for us to use for the liberation of all people. That last phrase is what matters, because that same knowledge could be used to harm marginalized people. And that's why it's so important for us to be ahead of the curve when it comes to not only artificial intelligence, but how artificial intelligence is wielded in society and who has control over it. That's it for today. Thank you again. I look forward to next week as we ramp up with more episodes and I start to drop more and more of these findings. I hope you have a blessed weekend. Hold a thought in your heart and in your mind for the people of Palestine, who are currently facing the most horrific situation that we've seen in our lifetimes. And that's saying a lot when you consider the barbarity that happens on this planet on a regular basis. But here we are with the fresh level of trauma and barbarity that we must take into our calculations and our considerations. Love you, mean it. I'll see you next time.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper? A woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver. I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.